Happy Friday, or rather miserable Friday, because I am about to show you a vlog in which I will have spent a week reading the saddest books I can get my hands on. Raf has just left this morning. She has gone away on a business trip, so she's away for a week. I am pining and lonely, so I thought, you know, why not cheer myself up by reading two really long sad books. The theme of this reading vlog is sad boy books. These are two books I've heard likened to A Little Life, the saddest boy book of all time. I have filmed a reading vlog of myself crying to that book, which I will link to below. I just realised I've been holding this one upside down the whole time. If you're wondering why it looked like a book with no cover, it's actually called Sparrow. Sparrow is A Little Life, but set in ancient times. I've got a proof copy here. It's about a young boy who is raised in a brothel, and so he's kind of forced to be a sex worker, and he imagines himself as a sparrow so he can fly away and escape from his trauma. And the book is kind of framed by him looking back later in life on his childhood. So, A Little Life, but in ancient Rome. Shuggie, Bain by Douglas Stuart is A Little Life, but set in Glasgow. This is a story kind of loosely inspired by the author's own life. It's about his experience growing up in Glasgow, being gay, living in a community where he wasn't going to be welcomed and made to feel safe. His mother, who he loves very, very much, is an alcoholic and lets him down time and time again. The two of these are not going to be happy reading experiences. They're both books I've heard are absolutely incredible. So maybe these are the new A Little Life. Let's let the crying begin. I just started reading Sparrow on my way home from work. It's already very distressing. I can already see this book is going to be very sad and very moving. I'm enjoying it so far though. I have a minor correction to what I said earlier. I said the book was set in ancient Rome. It's actually set in Carthago Nova, at least so far it is, which is in Spain, but it's like in the Roman Empire. This is my first night back in my flat after 5 nights away, so I've got quite a lot to sort out. I need to unpack, I need to put some laundry, I need to cook some dinner and also cook some packed lunches for the week. So I better get to it. It's been a long day. I'm very tired. Luckily though, I can chase the darkness away with my serious light that I've got right here. Turn that on right into my face. That's not how lights are supposed to be used. This video is being sponsored by Serious Readers, and I'm going to tell you more about my light throughout the video. I had a pretty grim case of food poisoning over the weekend, and so I'm still a little delicate around food. So cooking is going to be a slightly traumatic experience for me because looking at food still makes me feel a little queasy. But you know, a girl's got to eat. I'm going to try and manage some dinner tonight. I definitely need some lunch to get me through the work day tomorrow. So we're just gonna watch BookTube and we're gonna power on through the nausea. I'm so gorgeous, so nauseous.
I always tell myself I'm doing fine. I don't need help, just need a little time. And I've been so bad.
I think I underestimated how unwell I am still feeling because cooking once is quite enough for me. I found that quite a stomach churning experience. So we're gonna call it a night. So after that last clip last night, I actually had to stop vlogging or reading or anything because I was feeling genuinely so unwell. And then I did not sleep well, was sick again in the night. This is the worst food poisoning I've ever had. I would love to just take the day off work today and stay home and rest and recover. But Marie Kondo is coming into the office, and so it's kind of an important day. I'm filming her, so I think I need to go in. It's currently 7:30. What I think I'm going to do is head in and try and get the filming with her done, and then if I need to go home, I can go home. Poor me, so gorgeous, so nauseous. Let's try this again. Take 3. I had to go home from work. I was turning green. I didn't get to meet Marie Kondo. I got all the filming ready, and then I actually was like, I'm going to be sick, I can't do this. So I have spent the afternoon at home in bed trying to recover. Still not managing any food. I knew I was going to be doing a sad boy vlog. I didn't know I was going to be a sad girl in it. I had another special filming day booked for tomorrow, but I've just had to give up. I've officially taken the day off work tomorrow. I'm just going to focus on recovering. Emma, if you could try your hardest not to be sick, that'd be so appreciated. Love that for you. What I should be doing right now, sleeping to get my health fully restored. What I'm actually doing right now, waiting up until 11, which is when the Taylor Swift tickets go on sale. For the second time today. They already went on sale earlier, but I was trying to get tickets for the Seattle gig and it like crashed. Ticketmaster crashed, it got pushed back. Now I have to wait till 11 and that's for it to open, and there's gonna be hours of waiting time. I'm gonna fall asleep. I'm never gonna get these tickets. It was a long shot, but I gotta try. So of course I'm gonna read my sad boy book to keep me awake for the next 45 minutes until that happens. And luckily, I've got a really good light to keep reading in the dark. Hey buddy, you've seen this guy before. This is my Sirius light. He comes with me everywhere. This is the sponsor of this week's video. If you are a voracious reader like I am, then you should really get yourself one of these Sirius lights. I will leave a link to their website below, and I'm also going to give you a reward code, because if you buy any light in the Sirius lights range and you use my reward code DBMS12, as in drinking by my shelf 12, then you'll get a free compact light. When I get into bed, I'll show you my compact light. Some handy things you should know about these beautiful lights. They are very customizable. When I got this one, I chose what color I wanted it to be. I chose the materials. I chose if I wanted a floor lamp or a table lamp. I chose that I wanted it cordless so I can carry it around with me wherever I go. I'm like a walking lighthouse. If you spend some time browsing the website, you'll find that they have a ton of different types of lights which are appropriate for different types of readers, different types of situations. You can have lights that are like more narrow beam or wider beam, depending on how you're going to use it. And they're really good for my poor tired eyes, because these lights basically simulate what it is like to read in daylight, which is the best for your eyes. I don't need glasses, and I never will. That is not an official endorsement from Sirius Lights, but it's just a prediction I'm making. Something important to mention, which I did mention in my last sponsored video with my Sirius light, but a bunch of you were asking, if you are an international viewer, do not fear, you can also get your hands on one of these lights, and it doesn't have to have a UK plug. You can have it manufactured to suit you, and they offer free international shipping. I'm going to finish getting ready for bed and take off the rest of my makeup before I keep reading. Fun fact, I'm not wearing very much makeup anymore because I cried the rest of it off earlier when my tummy hurt so much. So cute. I'm settled in bed waiting for the Taylor Swift queue to open, and here you can see, well, it's so bright you can't even see, my trusty bedside compact light. Honestly, the best bedside light for reading in bed. Before I had that one, you can see I just had this cute, nice little gentle glow, but you try and read anything in that. This tiny handy little thing, however, perfectly lights up the page. So this is what I'm going to be reading with, and this is what you will get for free if you buy any of the lights in the Sirius Lights range and you use my code DBMS12. You can have one of these little babies. Let's see how much sad boy reading I can get done before I A, fall asleep, or B, get distracted by Taylor Swift tickets.
I always tell myself I'm doing fine. I don't need help, just need a little time.
2,000 people. Good, good, good. Okay, good. This is going well. I've made it more than halfway through the queue. I've read a good chunk of the book. I'm getting so sleepy now. So I'm going to have to stop reading for now and just try, if I lie down and like listen to something, listen to a podcast or watch a YouTube video, will I fall asleep before I get to the front of the queue? Probably. But a girl can only hope. Sparrow, so far, I'm really enjoying it. So it's about a little boy living in this brothel, and he is raised by one of the wolves, which is what they call the sex workers there. One of the wolves is called Euterpe, don't know if I'm pronouncing that right, and she is kind of his like mother figure, and she really loves him, and he's raised by mainly her and also the cook Ficaria, and those two women, getting a hint of a love story between the two of them. No one in this is going to have a good time. There was one line where Ficaria said something to the little boy about how your life is going to be short and it's going to be hard, and the sooner you accept that, the better things will be. So, you know, it's a brutal kind of life for him. Good morning. I did not get Taylor Swift tickets. I didn't fall asleep. I got all the way to the front of the queue. It only took just under an hour, but then it was like madness in there. Every seat that I clicked on, it instantly was like, this has already been taken. It's like, okay, well, just show me what's there. Show me what I can get. So I tried this like over and over again. I tried so many different combinations, and they all, every time I clicked on them, they were like, oh, someone just beat you to it. So I gave up. It's fine. That was just for the US Taylor tour. I don't currently have any flights booked to the US, so it's probably good that I didn't get tickets. I will try again for the UK ones. Other things to report. I was not sick again in the night. I am feeling a lot better. I am still in pain, but so much less than yesterday. I don't feel like we're going to have another sobbing fest. touch wood, this is all like famous last words before I've eaten anything. Historically, over the last, what do you want, 5 days now, it's every time I've eaten anything that all hell has broken loose. But we're just not going to go down that road yet. I'm going to stay firmly in this bed reading my book for at least another hour before I have to do anything.
But maybe I won't ever be enough. Maybe I'm not meant to fall in love.
I've made it to midday without getting out of bed, which is impressive and also something that I need to rectify, otherwise I will not be able to go back to sleep tonight. I'm going to get up and go on a mission, a yogurt finding mission. Yogurt is apparently something that's supposed to be good and gentle for sore tummies. So I'm going to go have some yogurt for breakfast. I'm about a third of the way through Sparrow. I'm really enjoying it so far. It's very different from my usual kind of read, as you will know if you watch this channel a lot. But yeah, I'm surprisingly really enjoying it. It hasn't been too sad yet. I mean, as I said, it's very brutal. A lot of horrible things happening. It hasn't been a tearjerker yet, but I keep getting so worried about what's going to happen to this poor little boy. He doesn't have a name. I'm just calling him Sparrow. He has various different nicknames that he's called. He's a really sweet little boy and he's learning about the world, and I just know nothing's going to go well for him. And we keep getting these little interjections from his future self. This is framed by his older self looking back, who keeps interrupting to be like, I know what you're thinking, but this isn't that kind of book. Don't get carried away. I'm not going to have a happy ending. Like, every time he talks about that, he doesn't know where he comes from. His older self will come in and be like, I know that you're thinking this is going to end with me discovering I'm really the son of a king, but it doesn't. I still don't know who I am. Stop thinking that. It's just constantly like shutting you down. Good things are not coming. We're going on an adventure to buy some yogurt. I've come to read down here. It is truly freezing, is what I will say. So much so that my face is cold, like icy cold to the touch. So I have given up and I put on the heating and I've come to sit against the radiator. And so far, it's proving delightful. What did they do when they were cold in ancient Spain? Oh, you know what's missing? I'm gonna go for a walk in the rain. I think that'll be good to get out of the house again. It's not ideal that it's raining, but I should have thought of that before being born in this country. I'm not gonna bring you with me because you would just get really wet and then I'd have to throw you away and buy a new camera, and I can't afford to do that. So I'll just see you in an hour when I'm kind of a little bit more bedraggled. Oh my gosh, I am absolutely soaking. That turned very quickly from a drizzly walk into a torrential downpour walk, and oh, let me tell you, I was not wearing the right shoes for that. Oh my god, look at this. I think I'm gonna have to throw away the socks I was wearing as well. She's bedraggled from her head to her toes. It was really fun though. I got to meet up with my sister, so that was jolly, walking around with her. And it means I get to talk to a human, another human that isn't me or a camera today. And I got back to find that Raph sent me flowers. Cheer me up for being gorgeous and nauseous flowers. Oh my gosh, even cuter. I just opened up the box and it was from Bloom and Wild, but inside it's not flowers, it's little cactus biscuits. It's so cute. It's one of our nicknames for each other. It's really sweet. I'm gonna try and eat one now. Is that dangerous? Biscuits have been encouraged. Having a bit of sugar has been encouraged. I want to try one. That is delicious. That was absolutely delicious. That was so delicious. It's gone down a treat. I really needed that. Having been out in the rain, this radiator is even more welcome. My toes are green. I think they got dyed from my socks. That's weird. I'm not going to show you. They look gross. I'll have a bath soon. Oh. Why? My bath was delightful. Bubble bath, a candle, my serious light to help me read. And this book is getting so sad, so I've just started part 2 now. Our little boy is now old enough to be allowed to work upstairs at the tavern. And so before this happens, so he has this mother in inverted commas. One of the wolves, called Euterpe, kind of treats him as her child and really, really loves him. And their bond is really special. He's kind of got 2 mothers because the cook is also a mother figure. She's just a bit harsher, but both of these women do love him. But Euterpe is one of the wolves, and as soon as the little Sparrow is told that he's old enough to work upstairs, she knows that he will start to see things and hear things and learn what it is that she does. And the final scene of part 1 was her almost like begging him, saying, no matter what happens, I'll always be your mother, knowing that he was going to withdraw from her. And we're starting to see that happen now in part 2 of him being disgusted by her and feeling shame that she might have known he was disgusted by her, and it's just so sad. So the little boy is a sad character, but actually at the moment it's Euterpe that I'm just most feeling for. She's just a wee lesbian. She just wants to love her little boy. Did I already mention that she and the cook are banging? I'm sure I did. Oh no, oh no, oh no, something terrible is about to happen. I knew this was going to happen from the beginning. This was the premise of the book, but I've got almost halfway without it happening. I don't want it to happen. No. Oh no. Don't cry. It's very sad. Little Sparrow, little Euterpe, their lives are so rubbish. Okay, I've reached the end of part 2. Something big has happened, which means that a big change will be coming. I hope it's going to be a good change for little Sparrow, but I just can't guarantee that. I'm going to get ready for bed though. I'm already ready for bed. I'm going to get into bed.
There's pain in the struggle, and there's beauty in the pain.
Oh no. So, there's something that we know about our main character from the beginning. The very first page, he introduced himself as a bunch of things. I'm not going to spoil this, including one thing, one word that implies something has happened to him, something not nice. And I didn't know at what point that was going to become relevant. Where I've just got to in the book, he has done something he was warned not to do, and I'm pretty certain I know what his punishment is going to be. I can't bear this, like, knowing something bad is coming. There's 2 bad things coming. I don't know which is going to happen first. I don't know what combination is going to happen. Oh, I'm stressed.
So if love is a struggle, I guess there's beauty in everything. There's peace in a heartbreak.
Okay, I finished Sparrow. And I managed not to cry. I had a close call earlier. There were some really moving exchanges between Sparrow and Euterpe, and I did feel like I was going to cry. But I made it. Dry eyes. 1 down, 1 to go. This book was really, really good. It ended in a way that was not what I expected. So some of the things that I thought were coming haven't happened yet. It seems like it's being set up for a sequel or a series, so possibly there are still more disasters yet to come. But this was a really enjoyable book, and I think that a lot of the A Little Life fans will similarly enjoy this book. It's not as traumatic as A Little Life, but it is pretty distressing in a lot of ways. But it's also kind of a Roman adventure story, but like set in a brothel and with a lot of the pretty grim reality of that at the same time. I'm giving this one 4 stars. I will definitely be picking up the sequel if it exists, and I am definitely recommending this one to all of you fans of sad boy books. But most importantly, now I am going to bed. Tomorrow I'll be picking up Shuggie Bain and diving into my next sad boy world. Look at me being the picture of health this morning. I don't even feel nauseous at all. But now that I finished crying from the pain, it's time to start crying from the sadness. So I'm going to go into my second sad boy book of the week, Shuggie Bain. I have been told, Raph says I'm going to love this one. My mum read it and said that it was amazing, but that she kind of wished she hadn't read it because it upset her so much. I've already told you what this one's about, a little boy growing up in Glasgow with an alcoholic mother. I'm already sad with him and I haven't even read the first page yet. I can't lie, Raph has the nicest bath. It's so deep. I could live in this bath. I was in that, excuse me. Sorry about the noise of the bath draining. I was in that bath for a full hour. That was too long, I'm melting. Read one more chapter. So the first 3 chapters I've read, the first one was about Shuggie as a 15-year-old. The second one is set a decade earlier and it's about Agnes, his mother. And then the third one I just read is about Shug, who is Shuggie's father, Agnes's husband. And he's a piece of work. That's all we've got time for tonight. It's 11 PM and I gotta sleep. I haven't read anything since you last saw me, which was 2 days ago. But yesterday Raph got back from New York and then we had work all day and then went to Florence and the Machine in the evening, which was so good. So there hasn't been much reading getting done. But it's now Saturday, Raph's gone to the hairdresser, she's going to be gone for a few hours, so me and Shuggie have a date. Before that date, I have a date with my lunch, which I'm going to cook now.
I saw you in my dreams.
Okay, Shuggie, I'm so sorry I've been neglecting you. Will you give me a second chance? I'm on page 50 out of like 450. I'm not exactly steaming ahead. The book is really more about Agnes, the mother, than it is about Shuggie, so far at least. Her life makes me very sad. I'm only going to fit a tiny bit more reading in because then we're off to the Arsenal Man U women's football game, which will be fun. And then the Enchanted sequel is finally out on Disney+, so that's my plan for the evening. So I'm squeezing in my last like 5 minutes of reading now. I'm not naked, I promise. Remember when I used to vlog all the time with my hair tied up into layer buns to curl it? I haven't done that in like 6 months. We're gonna do that again. So I've been reading some more Shuggie Bain and it really is heartbreaking. I think it's the sadder of the two that I've read this week, though they both have a lot of sadness in them, and they both have a lot of similarities. They both are set in these worlds with so much casual brutality and violence, and I think that that is actually quite different from A Little Life. A Little Life was set in this kind of timeless version of New York, but this kind of quite gentle, like civilized world, and then Jude had all of this terrible trauma that he was carrying with him and trying to fit it into this normal life in New York, whereas both Shuggie Bain and Sparrow are about little boys growing up in worlds that are violent, little boys that are kind of themselves too gentle to survive and thrive in these violent worlds. Sparrow was of course in an ancient Spain, and things were pretty grim, pretty horrific. I'm glad I was born pretty much 2,000 years after that, 1,600 years after that, because I like my gentle life. Shuggie Bain obviously is the 2 millennia on from that, so it is a very different world, and we've kind of only had it hinted at so far where I've got to. So there was a bit where Shug, the father Shug, who's a taxi driver, was talking about the kinds of old Glasgow men that he gets in the back of his taxi, and he talks about a particular type of Glasgow man that doesn't exist anymore because now they're younger and more sinister, and it's because of the drugs that are spreading through the city. So we've had that kind of hinted at. I don't actually know if or when drug use is going to become relevant in this book, but that's just kind of like an undercurrent throughout it. Then there's obviously been the violence, the domestic violence. Shug is a pretty horrific husband to Agnes. He has now abandoned her where I've got to. Honestly, she's safer without him there. But the bit that I've just read, I won't give any details, but the older son, so Shuggie's oldest brother, Alexander, who is this quiet, withdrawn artist, he has just got involved in an incident which is horribly violent. It was just hinted at. There's nothing like really graphic on the page, but it was just hinted at what he had got involved in, and it's just the casualness of the brutality that is just so shocking, and that kind of is a theme that's shared between both of the books I've been reading this week. I do definitely think that both of these books will appeal to fans of A Little Life. Raf's gone out to have brunch with her mum because I was doing Samaritan's training this morning, so she's going to come back and be delighted at the sight of me, I'm sure. I need one more hair tie. Oh no, am I one short? And I'm ready for the day, and still not naked. Agnes, the mother, is described as incredibly beautiful. She's very, very glamorous, really tries to keep herself looking elegant even as they're sinking further into poverty. She has these false teeth that she's had ever since she was a teenager. She convinced her mother to let her have these porcelain teeth, and they were her proudest thing. But now, all these years later, they cause her so much pain, and she also had convinced her oldest son, the teenage son, Leek, to get the same false teeth, and they're causing him all this pain. And there is something about these false teeth and the way they're written that is just so devastating to me.
I always tell myself I'm doing fine. I don't need help, just need a little time.
Things were going really well, but if A Little Life has taught me anything, it's never to trust it when things are going well, because they won't last. And they didn't, and now I'm miserable. This is the point of the book where if I was more of a book crier, I would be crying. He's such a good writer, like really good use of really simple language. The last chapter that I just finished ends on just the like tiniest, simplest sentence. I won't read it out because it won't mean anything out of context, but it was 4 words long, and I've thought about it the whole journey home. It just broke my heart. Switching to the audiobook while I cook dinner, my mission is to finish this book tonight.
Chapter 27. It was the first day in 3 weeks she hadn't woken up to a living room full of clammy, sodden bodies. It was a funny kind of lonely. Agnes sat and whimpered poor me's to herself for a while.
I finished. This was absolutely devastating. There's some stuff that happens towards the end of this book and some passages in this book that will absolutely gut punch you. So all in all, this has been a very sad week of reading, but a very, very good week of reading. Both of these books are incredible. And in answer to the question that I asked myself at the beginning, could either of these books be the new A Little Life? Yes, absolutely. Either of these could be. I already talked a little earlier about some of the differences that these books have compared to A Little Life in terms of they are both set in more brutal worlds. They also, another big difference is they are both about the central boy stays a child in these books. In Sparrow, he is looking back on it as an old man, but we don't really hear anything about the old man's life. It's basically just the story of him as a child. And Shuggie Bain, we follow him from the ages of roughly 6 to 16. So we don't follow either of these characters all the way into adulthood the way that we follow Jude in A Little Life. So that's a difference. In terms of which one is going to make you cry the most, I would say Shuggie Bain. So if you loved A Little Life because you love a good cathartic cry, then Shuggie Bain is going to give you that. I didn't cry this time, but I'm really not a big book crier. And I know I did say that in my Little Life video before then sobbing throughout it all. But let's remember, I was coming off my antidepressants when I filmed that video, so that may have explained some of the crying. If you're a crier, this one will get you. Sparrow also is a real tearjerker. This one has more of a kind of adventure story in it as well. I can see this one getting a cult following on TikTok from people who loved A Little Life, but it's something a little bit different. Something that both of these books have in common with each other and with A Little Life, which is something that I loved in all three books, is that while they are incredibly sad and a lot of terrible things happen and they are all about boys being let down and neglected and hurt over and over again, they are all about love. A Little Life is a book that has all kinds of love in it. The love that Jude has for his friends and that they have for him, the love between Jude and his adoptive parents. That's something that I always say to people who don't like A Little Life or who haven't read it because they're nervous about it and they think it's just going to be like unrelenting sadness, is that the reason I enjoyed that book so much is because it is so much about love, and I found that a lot in these. In both of these examples, it is a mother-son love. In Sparrow, the little boy, just like Jude, doesn't know who he is. He doesn't know who his real parents are or where he's from or how he ended up living in the brothel. He's been abandoned. He doesn't know anything about his past. But he does get sort of taken in by this wolf. One of the women at the brothel becomes his mother, and the love that she has for him is incredibly powerful. In Shuggie Bain, it is about Shuggie and his biological mother, Agnes, who is based on the author's own mother. And I'd heard this book described, before I read it, I'd heard someone say that the book is kind of a love letter to his mother, and that really, really came across. Agnes is an alcoholic, and she fails Shuggie over and over and over again in so many ways, and it just gets worse and worse and worse. Towards the end of the book, it is so physically painful to read the ways in which she is hurting him, but through all of that, you know that she loves him, you know she does, and that the alcoholism is a terrible disease that is really taking over her ability to love him and show her love him and care for him, but throughout it, she does, and little Shuggie loves her so much. It's just heartbreaking. But despite being very sad, that love is a really beautiful thread in the story and meant that the book finished on a hopeful note for me, despite storyline-wise it being pretty grim. So Shuggie Bain is a book that came out a couple of years ago. It won the Booker Prize, so you can get this one right now. It's being adapted for TV, which is very exciting. Sparrow is not out until May next year, so add this one to your wish list. I have a feeling this is going to be big. So that was my week spent reading sad boy books. It's actually pretty rare when I look at my reading trends. It's quite rare that I read books about male characters. Though Shuggie Bain is predominantly actually about Agnes, the female character, but it's framed through Shuggie's experience. Both of these are male authors, and I should try and diversify my reading. I don't read that many male authors. Thank you so much to Serious Readers for sponsoring this video. My serious light has really shone a light light on the dark times I've been going through while reading these books. So don't forget to click the link in my description box and use my code DBMS12 to get yourself a free compact light with any purchase of a light in the Serious Lights range. If you have any other recommendations of sad boy books like these, do put them in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel for new videos every Friday. And I'll see you next time.